Well, good morning. My name is Reverend Annie Batchelder, and this is the Bringing Forth Soul Consciousness Live Facebook group here, where you can write your question into the comments, and I will channel you an answer. Just because we have some time, and I'd like to let you get to know me a little better. I have been channeling my guide Anubis for 34 years now. Good morning, Eddie Albios. Nice to see you. Thank you for being here. I've been channeling my guide Anubis for over 34 years. When I first was introduced to channeling, and I asked for a high guide whose sole purpose, or whose higher purpose in channeling with me blended with my soul purpose and my higher purpose being here. Good morning, Cheryl Mullock. I got Anubis, and I had no idea who Anubis was or what the name meant. I just finally got it down from about 12 syllables that sounded very much like Hindi to me, to 3, Anubis. And so that's how I came to know my guide. It's a little tricky, especially when you're new, trying a new thing, and channeling can feel kind of nebulous and intangible at first. So I honor all of you who are trying it out for the first time, or maybe thinking about learning how to channel or channel right. Like sit down and write and let the channeling come through the written word, which I highly recommend. That's a really fun way to get information, and it's pretty easy, if you ask me. But I seem to come by this skill fairly naturally, and I'll bet you can too. Anyhow, about 2013, I was buying a book for my boyfriend, or buying a couple of books for my boyfriend for Christmas, because he's very generous with me, and I wanted to get him some more presents so I could have plenty of them represented under the tree. And I just went in and did the speed choice. I put my hand out in the spiritual section, and I asked whatever books I was supposed to take home to heat up and to tell me to take them home. And I looked at them briefly, and if they held the energy, from what I could tell, I went with it, and that was that. And he began reading this one book after Christmas in 2014 and said, Annie, I think you'd like this. It's right up your alley. And it was a book by Dr. Linda Howe called How to Read the Akashic Records, the entire archive of the soul's journey. And I was hooked. That was it for me. I started reading it, and I tabbed the pages, and I have post-it notes on different things. Good morning, Carl Christian. Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. Is it Carl or Carrie? I don't have my glasses on, and this particular set of contacts is not working today. Anyway, so I started doing Akashic Records reading, and now I channel the Akashic beings of light, and I do psychic readings, I do Akashic readings, I do divine energy healing, I do house clearings and land clearings. I can help you find a suitable place to live by doing the Akashic, opening the Akashic records of particular apartment, house, office, building, land, anything that you're looking to purchase, rent, or lease, I can open the Akashic records of. So, there's a lot of fun things you can do with this, and very useful, very, very useful. And I would like to be useful to you guys today. So who's going to write a question in on Facebook and tell me what you are looking to know? I'm going to just get my page up here and dun, dun, dun. Whoops. Just throwing the mouse around a little bit here. I'm gonna go to this page and see what we got. And maybe somebody's written in some questions. That's what this whole live videos about, is an opportunity to give you answers to the questions that are bothering you. Or is there a health issue? Is there a relationship issue? Is there something else going on that you need to know about? So oh, good. Here we go. We got some action here. Hi, Marco is here. Cheryl. Cheryl Mullock says, "What are my gifts?" Greetings and welcome from Anubis. Well, we are clear that you have many, many gifts, and they are largely earth-oriented. Gardening, growing produce, raising livestock of various kinds. You have a serious relationship with Mother Earth and her bounty, and you access that and utilize that quite significantly in who you are. But you also have this connection with the stars. I see you sitting in the soil, holding, massaging the soil next to you, or feeling it, but also with your head turned up, looking up at the night sky and reading the stars. And I see you also as having had past lives where you were involved in serving as a priestess of the goddess back in the times when humanity worshipped goddess, not God. When humanity worshipped the divine feminine. So this is quite a long time ago. And you had animals following you everywhere, lambs, dogs, cats. You had some snakes in jars that were your familiars, that all that kind of thing. So your specialty was aiding people and animals to reproduce effectively and joyfully and health in a healthy way. If there was a stall, so you helped with fertility and cleared blockages in many ways to fertility. So you were very well known in the neighborhood and the villages that you served. You're a big part of how they reproduced and continued their lines on, as well as just grew the population. So this is what we are seeing as your biggest guides. Gifts, excuse me, let me just look and see anything else. I'm being directed to the back of the neck and head, just or where the neck connects with the spine, sort of at the bottom of the neck and where the shoulders meet, like C5, C6, C7, right down there. And I'm also being directed to the heart. So for me, channeling is a lot about opening up the back of the head and the neck and allowing the energy to come in and through me. It goes into my heart and up into my brain and through my throat and mouth. And so this would be the big connection there. So your ability to channel is ripening as we speak. I think that's maybe one of the next steps for you, as either channel writing or channeling out loud. And really, it's just a matter of practice and trusting what you get, and following the images, following the energy, describing the images as clearly as you can, being in the energies and describing how it feels physically, what it looks like. If there's a picture you're given, if there's a physical direction, like I've been talking about, I was directed to the bottom of the neck and the heart and all of that. These you use all of you when you channel, and the guides access all of you. So sometimes you will be given a memory and you're supposed to describe that memory because it's relevant to whatever your question is. But you go in first, you have a question. You ask to channel, you ask for a high being of light whose purpose works with your higher purpose as a soul and as a human on the planet, utilizing your gifts, talents, and abilities. And then you describe the energies and the memory or the pictures or the sensations in your body, whatever you're getting, you describe that as part of what you're experiencing. And the words, phrases, or it feels like, start sentences with it feels like, and it seems like. It may just be something you're having a sense of. My sense of this is, start sentences like that. Eddie Aviles, I think that you channel all the time. It'd be nice to know a little bit more about you. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad that you are. So Cheryl, that's a pretty complete answer. Cheryl's really figuring out how to work this thing. She's a big participant here on the Bringing Forth Soul Consciousness. When I did start channeling Anubis, and I had to channel in my workshop called Awakening the Light Body, we had to channel for each other, the different participants. And it was very, I was like just barely into it. And so the gal I was channeling for, she says, "You're good. And do you know who Anubis is?" And I was like, "No, who's Anubis?" And then she told me about the Egyptian god for embalming, and the Egyptian god Anubis, who escorts you if your heart weighs less than a feather. Upon embalming, then you can be guided by Anubis to the afterlife. If your heart weighs more than a feather, then you have to go back and do another life. So that's Anubis's energy. And Anubis has the head of a jackal, or like a black dog with very pointy ears, like that. All right, who has another question for me? Cheryl says, Annie, I'll say Annie's readings are so great, complete, accurate. She's good. Well, thank you, Cheryl. And Cheryl knows she's had a full reading with me in Akashic Records reading. She's had a lot of these little mini readings on this live, and I would like to offer that to you all. The best way to schedule with me is on my website, anniechannels.com, anniechannels.com. And you can either do the full Akashic Records reading or psychic reading, whatever you're interested in. Or you can have one of these little mini readings, I call them, where you ask one question and I channel an answer for you on a voice memo and send this voice clip to you with your answer on it within 12 hours. And those are really like, I'm surprised at how much information just comes through like blah, 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 right away. There's always information there. And that's the nice thing about having guides. What they know, I often don't. And I learn so much when I channel on your questions. And so it's valuable, it's worth it for you, for me to do all this. So who's got a question? Who else wants to know something? Eddie, is there something, the reason Eddie said, oh, I'm also curious of what my gifts are. Thank you, Eddie. I'm tuning into your energy. Well, leadership, you've had a lot of past lives and experience with battle, being a warrior, leading groups of warriors into battle or attacks. You have a lot of experience in dominating people. And so this is the thing that you're learning in this go around, is how more to lead by inclusion, lead through more of a love and a compassion, lead people to their well-being, and less into war or conflict with others. So you're learning, you actually have a skill in merging with people, and you kind of become them for a while. You want to do this with their permission. Don't do it without their express permission. Not like, well, I asked their energy, and sometimes you can get an answer that way, and if you get the answer, if the answer is sort of a toothy growl, that means no. But it's best if you have a conscious, live human to human conversation and get their permission to merge with them. But then you kind of go in and you scan their body, and you can tell what's going on with their insides, and which organs may be depleted or which ones are overproducing, and that's creating the imbalance. You are good at discovering the fight or flight aspects of people's brain and what triggers that. It might be an ancestral influence in that person. It might be just a past memory, even in this life or in past lives, where their fear gets triggered, and it sends them into panic, or it sends them into a run or a turn around and fight or defend, going into a defensive posture. And you really understand these things because of your leadership with the warriors and in past lives. It's kind of the part of humanity that you specialized in talking to and working with. So you recognize that. Let's look at your energy a little bit more. They're bringing up flowers to your beloved. You should bring flowers to your beloved today. That there is something special that needs to be recognized, and something that is useful to communicate with those flowers for someone you're in deep relationship with. And it may be your mother. It may be your mother. And if you can't bring them to her personal, have them delivered, and then call her after they're delivered, like that. let's see, Eddie. So it looks like you have a son, and you're wanting the son to avoid some of the pitfalls that you fell into in your youth. And you have a bit of time now because your son looks fairly young, somewhere between 3 and 5. But if you consciously have these pitfalls in mind all the time, and that you want these to be avoided, it's kind of like you're magnifying the pitfalls, not what you want to magnify as alternatives. So please keep in mind the alternatives that you want to amplify, rather than the pitfalls that you have felt that you need to create a defense against, or teach him how not to fall into that. And a conscious conversation is worth a lot. Conscious conversation is worth it a lot. Good morning, Sana Marie Wicks. This is my sister from another mother. She's wonderful. Sana's just all love, 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 love. Oh, man. So I think that's a pretty good reading for you, Eddie. If you need more, or you have another more specific question, I recommend you at least get the personal guidance, little $28 voice clip channel reading, that sort of thing. Oh, Eddie says, I have 2 daughters, 29 and 33. Do they have a son? Do they have sons? Someone that you're concerned about that's male and quite young. So maybe it's a neighbor, and it's a neighbor that you have a kind of strong pull of a connection to, one way or another. But great, you have 2 daughters. Thank you for celebrating women. And maybe it's them who would like flowers. That means you have to get 2 batches. And keep you busy today. No sons for them. Okay. All right. Well, maybe we're getting something from the future that's coming into fruition later on. But I think you understand the whole point of not amplifying what it is you want not to happen, but amplifying and keeping in your mind that which you do want to happen, that which you do want to bring forward, that which you do want to focus on, as for you. Oh, one of your daughters has a birthday today. Well, at least I hit that one right. I'm not always correct. But there sure was a lot of information and focus on that, one way or another. All right, let's see. Let's see what else needs to happen here today. I can take one more question. One more question somehow. I love it that you're responding to the in the comments. That helps me a lot, whether I'm right or wrong. I don't care. It lets me know that we're tracking somehow, and communicating, and I'd like to know who I'm talking to here. Otherwise, I'm just looking at a computer or a phone for no good reason. This Kari Christian, would you like to ask a question? I would love to focus in on you. You're a new name for me, a new member, I think, for bringing forth soul consciousness. I'm glad to have you. I'm just amazed. We've got 481 members on this group page, and it's been in existence for slightly less than a year. And I just appreciate so many people who have a focus on soul information. And that's really my specialty, as it came clear to me when I first started channeling Anubis. I asked Anubis what was Anubis's higher purpose, and Anubis said, connecting humans with their soul and from there into the divine. And I had no idea what that meant at the time. And I had no idea that that was my higher purpose, which is very clear here 34 years later. It has been consistent throughout. But when we connect with our souls, when we bring in our soul's light, which contains our soul's consciousness, we automatically are connected to the divine. So our soul is the link that connects us with the divine. It's the link that connects us up and out into that more expansive, creative force. And it's empowering, and it's a love energy, and it makes you feel fulfilled. It makes me feel really unified when I connect with my soul's light, bring my soul's light into my whole body. I think my guides taught me to call it embodying your soul's light. And that's what my soon to be published book called Bringing Forth Soul Consciousness, that has been in the works since 2019. I'm just on the lip of having it published on Amazon, and believe me, you're going to hear more about that. And I can't wait to be able to offer it to you in its entirety, not just chapter by chapter or in this way, but it's a very complete book that talks about living as your soul, being your soul's light and energy, how you can work with physical ailments, masterful manifesting, how the soul is created or constructed, what is soul consciousness. It's very complete, and I hope that it will be something that I can offer you as like spiritual food. For me, I read books that are spiritual because they feed me. They add to my light. They remind me what the higher purpose is here. They get me out of my lower, fearful, wanting to control thinking, and get me expanded into the light of my soul, and expanded into the light of the divine. And it organizes the way I feel in my physical body, and it organizes how I can operate and help me. And he says, have a beautiful day, and thank you. You are most welcome. I could see her going off to the florist right now. I hope. Thank you, Eddie, for participating. I'm just glad to meet you. Thank you. And if you're new and you've never done this before, it's a little strange to put up a personal question in a kind of a public forum, but your questions help other people because the answers often apply to more than one person present, and they apply to people who see these videos later on. Not everybody can be here at this time, I know, so they watch these videos later on, and it's they gain the energy and the information at a different point in time. So I'm speaking to all of you who end up watching this, and I'm so grateful that you're here. All right, let's see. Is there any other information? Sana, you are loved. Please know that you are so loved no matter what. Love to connect with you. Maybe a phone conversation or a little Zoom catch up together. That would be fun. All right. Thank you, everyone. Your presence here is most appreciated. You're loved. Don't be afraid to go to anniechannels.com, or you can see that there are these expand to include soul source or logos up here all the everywhere, and you can get those $28 one question personal guidance readings on my Soul Sorcerer, in my Soul Sorcerer store. Also, all you have to do is pay $28 and then email me your question. You can text me or email me. My information, contact information is everywhere on these pages. Your one question, email or text me one question, pay first, and I know exactly what to do from there. I have up to 12 hours to get this to you. That's just in case you're texting me a question at 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm not even awake. So I need a little bit of time to wake up and get to it. So that I'm as effective as possible for you. And I love you. Thank you again for being here, for joining us. As the guides say, goodbye for now. Thank you.